In the world's farthest reaches, where few humans go, a few spots stand out from the blue. It's the beginning of summer, and everyone is heading to the same place with the same goal. This is where penguins and albatrosses meet. The Falkland Islands are a chain of rock and sand lost somewhere between Latin America and Antarctica. A refuge where many species nest, this oasis is hardly a paradise. Around here, you're constantly reminded why these latitudes are called the Furious 50s. In the Earth's southern hemisphere, the seasons are the opposite of the northern hemisphere. Springtime arrives at the beginning of October, at the same time as many penguin species. After spending the winter hunting on the high seas, they head back to their native land. They've hunted tirelessly day in, day out, pushed onwards by their reproductive instinct. They are getting ready to nest all over this beach. All but one, that is. Of all these species, the life of the southern rockhopper penguin requires the most perseverance. It's impossible to distinguish one southern rockhopper from another or a male from a female. Each displays the same yellow-crested headdress that brings out the tenacious look in their eyes. Fitting, because what characterizes this species is its hard-as-nails temperament. A temperament that's as explosive as the coast they've elected to live on for the summer. Way up on top of these cliffs, other southern rockhoppers are already nesting in an area they share with the beautifully made-up black-browed albatross. When these birds with a 2.4-meter wingspan and these barely 35-centimeter tall penguins cohabitate, it often gets as stormy as their surroundings. But before they can even hope to breed at the top of this pedestal, the rockhoppers will have to laboriously climb these slippery rocks. Unlike penguins that are able to fly to the peak, rockhoppers have lost their ability to fly. This is how the story of this fledgling couple begins. Just like every summer, the male begins his dance with a new partner. On the way to their colony, the slightest stop is an opportunity for them to get closer. At the top of this lookout point, another couple is courting. Seemingly identical in appearance, this male and female resume a dance that began several years ago. Over 4 summers, a quatrain of chaste courting dances has allowed this pair of albatrosses to get closer, to finally achieve such perfect synchronization that they will bond for this summer and all the summers to come. The crucial step for conceiving their offspring comes naturally. Little by little, the ocean's swell and winter storms are replaced by temperatures above 10 degrees. The wind remains, as it's a prisoner of these latitudes, forever furious. When the downpour ends, it's the perfect time to build a nest. A stone's throw away, other penguin species have established their colonies. Such closeness between species is rare and is part of the Falklands' wealth. Cousins for thousands of years, each species of penguin is highly specialized, and each one has found a way to combat the birds of prey that haunt the archipelago continuously. Because of its size, the albatross is the lord of the land, so much so that it erects a promontory, raising it even higher above the others. At the foot of its majestic neighbor's nest, the rockhopper penguin makes do with leftovers. The Magellanic penguin burrows in the peat to lay its eggs underground. The king penguin, which looks so much like the most famous penguins, chooses the falsely convenient option of keeping its egg with it at all times, despite the ever-present risk that it could fall and break. The Gen 2 penguin chooses the coziest solution. While the birds are baking in the sun, some newcomers make their appearance on the island. With adult males weighing over 350 kilos, sea lions are fearsome predators who enjoy having penguins for dinner. But this isn't the time for hunting. On these craggy coasts, one major issue is a source of tension: space to procreate. A quick glance is enough to feel these beasts' power in the water. A few hundred meters away, though nearly the same size, the mood is completely different. Female elephant seals weigh up to 900 kilos and the males up to 4 tons, but it's all blubber. The penguins have nothing to fear from these behemoths, which feed exclusively on deep-sea squid. They can barely move on land because their forelimbs are not built the same as a sea lion's. So, they simply live in a mainly horizontal position. Births took place a month ago. The pups, which already weigh over 100 kilos, are beginning to discover the aquatic world that will become theirs. With their mothers sleeping in between feedings, they take advantage of the shallow pools to learn to swim, unaware of all the dangers that come out at daybreak. This cove is the setting for a hunting class, skillfully led by this mother orca with her young. She moves forward subtly, hiding between the seaweed and the waves to corner her prey. Summer has been catastrophic for this young sea elephant. But it was nothing but a mere snack for this family of orcas, ruled by the male who remained in the open water. 7 meters long, with 6 tons of muscle and intelligence, he is the ultimate marine mammal. The egg protected under its stomach. The southern rockhopper penguin is waiting. He's waiting for his mate to come back from the sea, where she went after delivering her precious package. He doesn't move a feather. Imperturbable, until the first crack of the shell. At the end of the month-long incubation period, all of the colonies welcome their newborns. Once the ball of feathers has come out of its shell, the parents begin working in shifts. The adult guarding the nest takes care of the little one while the other goes fishing. Thanks to its 2.4-meter wingspan, this albatross floats effortlessly in the air, wherever the wind takes him. He flies tirelessly for days and thousands of kilometers to bring the food his chick needs. He skims the surface of the ocean and snacks on small squid and fish. For the penguins, the system of babysitting in shifts is the same, but the task's difficulty is quite different. The parent that's out to sea suddenly appears on the horizon with a full stomach. Again, they will have to brave the rocks, this time to get back to their family. They've gotten past the first step, surviving the cutting waves. Now there's another one, even longer and just as dangerous. Climbing this 87-meter cliff. Fortunately, they have powerful claws on the tips of their feet, whose length and rough texture allow them to grip the rocks, but always leaving them precariously balanced. Finally, the summit. This father must now find his chick amid the colony's cacophony. But this din is precisely organized. Everyone waits for the end of a squawk before they begin theirs. His mate has worked hard. The little one has doubled in size in a few days. A quick hello when he arrives, and his mate goes off to feed herself now. The task is grueling because the rockhopper penguins must now go farther out to sea each year. Overfishing and climate change are forcing them to enlarge their hunting zone to thousands of kilometers. The brooding success rate is decreasing because the adults fail to feed their young enough, or they simply die at sea from exhaustion. Today, 3/4 of the rockhopper penguins have disappeared. If all goes well, this mother will come back in a few days. Until then, the male will feed his chick as much as he can, and he will defend him tooth and nail. Not all of the chicks are as lucky as this one. Another rockhopper parent approaches the ragged coast. The waves have gotten the better of its determination. Despite its efforts, it's gradually losing energy. The caracaras wait patiently. Empathy is unknown to birds, so it's troubling to see this penguin encourage its dying fellow penguin. In this universe where everything is linked, this loss will lead to another. After a few days, the penguin's chick dies of hunger in the colony. A windfall that the skuas and caracaras pounce on. The victim is taken to a safe place to fill the empty bellies of the caracaras chicks. Tragic events seem to be a daily occurrence in the Falklands, but they're essential to the balance of this ecosystem. Every death is a source of life. January may be the middle of the summer in the Southern Hemisphere, but the furious 50s regularly bring up memories for island natives. High tide carries a flock of satiated southern rockhoppers. They don't know that one of the island's most dreaded predators is lurking nearby. This family of sea lions has taken refuge on the rocks, far from the comfort of the sandy beaches, with their offspring that must be fed again and again. This penguin has escaped from this titan who preferred a victim that's easier to catch, a tuna fish. After its scare, the rockhopper can take advantage of one of its life's rare respites, a freshwater shower. This rockhopper will be able to get back to its chick that's getting bigger every day. When they reach this size, the young group together in a nursery, watched discreetly by an adult to limit attacks. In the warm air of the austral summer, they cool down by opening their beaks frequently. He needs to hear one cry among thousands. This mother albatross is lost. The 100-year-old tussock grass that protects the island is hiding the horizon. The squalls along the coast have pushed her to land here. She's looking for shelter from the wind and enough space to take off. But there's nothing in sight. Despite everything, this mother moves forward with only one goal in mind: getting back to the colony and seeing her chick again. That cry wasn't the one she was hoping for. Nor this one. After looking in dozens of nests, she recognizes its down feathers. She's reunited with her mate and their chick. A quick greeting, and the father flies off. Everywhere, the chicks are growing up and mimicking their elders' movements. This is how they will become experienced penguins. Whether they be royal, gentoo, or Magellanic. All of these species are completely ignorant of the icy land where their emperor cousins live. They live in the sun with their feet in the grass, in harmony with nature. These days, the gentoo penguin colony has some new neighbors, some intimidating sea lions. Gentoos and sea lions pretend to ignore each other, size each other up, evaluate each other, and keep their distance. Despite their considerable size difference, this cohabitation remains totally peaceful. Gentoo penguins are much bigger and fatter than the southern rockhopper penguins, ideal prey for the sea lions. But trying to reach them on land is pointless. Compared to other penguins, the gentoos have evolved to have more hydrodynamic bodies, a more developed muscle structure, and their feet are much further back on their bodies, 3 assets that help their speed. They can run as fast on the grass and swim like lightning underwater. They might even believe they're untouchable. But in the water, the sea lions are in their element and regain their grace and efficiency. The sea lion slams its prey on the water's surface numerous times in order to break it apart, thus compensating for its inability to chew its food. These giant petrels revel in the leftovers. They are unaware of the deep evolutionary connection that they share with the penguins. In the Falklands, life depends on a clever equilibrium of cohabitation that preserves this ecosystem. These species are currently linked, but if we go back in time, they share the same origins. Whether it be a panda dolphin ballet, these endemic steamer ducks, which lost their ability to fly in the absence of terrestrial predators, or these penguins, they are all the result of a logical and complex evolution. The case of the penguins is most interesting. This bird has become wingless. It can no longer soar in the air like the albatross. Its wings have become denser and more water-resistant. Its feathers have shortened to become more waterproof. Albatrosses and rockhoppers seem to be completely different, but each one soars in its element. There's another, even stronger link between the rockhoppers and albatrosses that's clearly apparent in the Falklands. The presence of the albatrosses in their colony makes the rockhoppers safe. Elsewhere, where rockhoppers do not live with albatrosses, caracaras decimate nearly all of the chicks. In the Falklands, albatrosses protect a species that's already in great difficulty. Their fates are linked. It's the big day. The penguin chicks have become independent. In all of the colonies, it's time to leave for a tremendous discovery: the ocean. In a few days, the land empties. The adults leave with their young. They don't travel together for teaching purposes, but because hunger is ravaging all of their bellies. Only the raptors and albatrosses remain. Suddenly, what an epiphany it must be to finally feel the water on their feathers. Are they afraid? Excited? Or are they simply attracted by the ocean which nourishes them? The young spend their first 3 years entirely on the high seas. This adult rockhopper leaves too, but will return in a few weeks. Still on the ground, the raging storms of the furious 50s are the albatross's only distractions. Nothing touches the comfort of those at the top, not even the 150-kilometer-per-hour squalls. The penguins have left. Everything is calm. But for how long? This mother albatross lands skillfully. Her baby is next to her mate. It's rare respite for this couple that spend their lives flying in different directions. After only 3 weeks filling their bellies at sea, the adults have already come back without their young. The southern rockhoppers land, this time free from the pressures of parenthood. The rockhoppers come back to the colony in order to change into their winter attire. Like every year, they will molt, gradually shedding their current plumage to make way for a new one. The whole colony is in a state of lethargy. Molting requires a great deal of energy. Is this the female with which he just had a chick, or another one? Each new feather pushes out the previous one and encourages delousing. The down of the young albatrosses mixes with that of the rockhoppers and fills the air. The more the feathers fly, the greater the desire to go somewhere else. The mother albatross and her chick spend one last moment together. Soon, they will all follow this early bird's lead, snatched by the open seas for the winter. As for the southern rockhopper penguins, will they come back next year?